Fighting games. A genre of video games that involves combat between multiple characters, often one-on-one battles. Fighting game combat often features mechanics such as blocking, grappling, counterattacking, and chaining attacks together into what we all love to call combos. The fighting game genre thrives off of the back and forth interactions between two players at a base foundational level. This is the core of fighting games. However, one game in particular is having controversy over its validity as a fighting game, at least in the competitive aspect.
I refuse to hear yet another complaint about our game. I'm turning this off, and then I'm disliking the—
Wait, Vegeta. Let's give him a chance.
So I played a lot of fighting games in my life, like the Injustice series, Melty Blood, Dragon Ball FighterZ, Dead or Alive, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, and, well, you get the point. Fighting games is one of my favorite genres in gaming, to be honest. Another would be RPGs, but I digress. Anyway, if you notice, they didn't say games like the Storm series or My Heroes 1 Justice, and that was on purpose. No, I'm not going to say to you that those aren't fighting games, because that would be blatantly wrong. Fighting games like other genres have their sub-genres, but fighting games have their traditional fighters, which is more along the lines of a Street Fighter or a Mortal Kombat, some sort of game with a 2.5D or just side-scroll screen setup. You have your 8-way fighters, so think of Soul Calibur, Dead or Alive, or Tekken. And then you have the most controversial genre, arena fighters. Aww. Arena fighters typically get a bad rap due to usually bad game balancing, lack of complexity and depth compared to the other genres of fighting games I just listed, and to make matters worse, typically, they're anime games. Which, yeah, it's not really helping their case any further. Usually when it comes to those games, the argument used against these games when questioned on a competitive scene in any way is, oh, you mean those one-button fighters? Now, I'll be the first to tell you, nothing anybody pulls off in, let's say, a Storm game will ever have the same level of skill and awe of Evo moment number 37. To pull off those frame-perfect parries consistently in a high-stress moment like that, number 37 will forever be a legendary fighting game moment in history, especially with fighting games nowadays making mechanics easier or a little more accessible, which allows a wider audience, which is a good thing, but it also lessens the difficulty factor of some mechanics, which kind of takes away some of the wow factor from them. I'll also be the first to tell you that a lot of the fundamentals that are in all other fighting games like spacing, mind games, neutral, punishing, safe versus unsafe moves, matchup knowledge, all applies to arena fighters too. Sparking Zero is the first arena fighter I've seen or personally have played that had this much mechanical depth with several different ways to counter, requiring good spacing, resource management, and of course winning neutral. While yes, some can say Z-Burst Dash is an I win neutral button, the same could be said about Dragon Ball FighterZ with the Super Dash mechanic, and against good players, that's not really the case, as both can be punished if you know what to do in both games. So, what? Am I saying that Dragon Ball Sparking is a competitive fighting game because it shares aspects of other fighting games? Well, not exactly.
Really?
Come on, bro.
I fucking give up!
Balancing wise alone, it's a hell fucking no for this game, alright? It's too unbalanced, with floor accuracy in mind, to an extent, and of course you have fusions running rampant in ranked match. Why am I having flashbacks right now? Plus, a character that I despise so much despite his accurate depiction in terms of strength.
Here comes a new challenger!
The fucking Bean Daddy himself, Yaji fucking Roby. The people that play him make me sick. You time for a little snack assholes piss me off, especially in ranked. Some of them will have a fusion and maybe one more character, and after killing their person's fusion and that other character, I see this monstrosity pop in and the blood starts boiling. I'm not gonna cap. All it takes is one knockaway and before I'm back, he's full health. You have unblockable ultimates and skills with those same characters that have unblockable ultimates, so that those skills will let them go back into sparking mode and go for another unblockable ultimate. Super fun and interactive. A broken game is a broken game. Revolutionary, I know, but a game's balance, while a factor in the competitive scene, isn't the only factor. It depends by the community and scene behind it, and that determines rules about competitive play. I'm sure game devs weren't really the ones to make the competitive fighting game seem into what it is. They made the games, but I doubt they even knew what would happen down the line. I think in terms of what makes a game viable for, let's say, EVO, would be them picking between factors like brand promotion or the hype around a series, as well as its validity around its community. Hype being features in the game that are fun and engaging to not only pull off, but watch too. While seeing how technically impressive it is to pull off certain combos, skills, feats, stuff that pro players do, it adds hype to the game, but also makes it technically impressive when it's pulled off, as long as it's not something super easy to do. Now, some bring up unbalanced characters into this, but really that depends on how the devs choose to balance them. If they are still fun, then players will most likely still use them. However, if the characters are not fun, there's a chance they will ban certain characters from competitive play in the competitive scene for said game. Even some old fighting games are balanced absolutely terribly, but are still played today because people still have fun with it and continue to play it. What causes that is a bit harder to determine, but in order to get a competitive scene going, I suppose the game needs to have enough depth to still be fun and not have every match feel the same even after hours of playing it. Now yes, Sparking Zero isn't a traditional fighting game, and not all the time when people say that, it's said with a negative connotation to it. This game wasn't designed for competitive play in mind, it was designed to give players an authentic Dragon Ball experience, and I, despite some of the bullshit this game, well, a lot of the bullshit this game has, 100% love the devs for this. And don't get it twisted. What? And don't get it twisted. Is Dragon Ball Sparking Zero a competitive fighting game? No, not at all. I don't expect to see this game on a main stage EVO, but I would expect it there as a side game, and even then, that's not relevant, because is it a game that will have a competitive scene? Hell yes. Because truthfully, what makes a game competitive, for the most part, is the community that creates the competitive scene for said game. The community has been going crazy with all the tech videos and guides to help players get better at the game as well, because to be honest, this is not a simple pick up and mash kind of arena fighter and expect to go crazy. Maybe at the start, but people have been learning and improving with tech and mechanics. Shit that worked week 1 is outdated at this point. Because of the overall Sparking community improving at the game and trying to improve in any way, whether that's guides, tech, whatever, the community is striving to get better at the game and make the game more enjoyable by everybody improving. And that doesn't sound like your typical arena fighter to me. The fact that this game has so much mechanical depth and other mechanics and just trying to even little secret tech and stuff to improve at the game, I've been seeing a lot more in this arena fighter than I have in any others for a while. Anyway, I'm just some guy on the internet that loves fighting games, traditional or arena style. If it's a fighting game I enjoy, best believe hands will be thrown regardless. Hopefully the competitive scene of Dragon Ball Sparking Zero will keep thriving or thrive regardless of how people look at it, and I look forward to the fights that lie ahead. Cause like a true Saiyan, I'm just there for the fight.
Spoken like a true warrior. I think I'll subscribe to him.
So now what, Vegeta?
Wanna run some more Sparking Zero?
Heck yeah! But no fusions this time.
Fine by me. I hate fusing anyway.